We had prepared for screams. Every projection model confirmed it. When a war fleet of the Velfari Dominion enters a pre-FTL adjacent system, the primitive species either fires blindly or surrenders immediately. They broadcast panic. They scatter transmissions. They beg. Earth did neither. I am Admiral Keltor of the 7th Dominion Spear. I record this not for glory, but for warning. When we breached the outer perimeter of the Sol system, our scanners categorized the third planet as Life World Classification 12, Gravity Index Extreme, Atmospheric Volatility Severe, Native Apex Density Abnormal, Category 12, a death world. We had studied the file on the species who called themselves humans, bipedal, soft tissue dominant, no natural armor, no venom, no claws. They smiled frequently. Our cultural analysts noted this as a sign of social submission. That was our first error. The fleet translated into real space beyond their outer gas giant. 112 warships, planetary suppression weapons armed, gravimetric anchors deployed. Standard doctrine required a surrender ultimatum within 6 minutes. I gave the order. Transmit. You are now under Dominion authority. Disarm orbital defenses. Power down planetary shields. Prepare for occupation. Silence followed. Not static, not jamming, just silence. Then something appeared. Not on open broadcast, not on wide-spectrum frequencies. It manifested directly inside our command network. A package, a digital construct. Our intrusion alarms did not trigger. Our firewalls did not activate. The object simply existed. On my tactical display, a glowing geometric box rotated slowly in three-dimensional projection. Smooth edges, soft golden light. It pulsed gently. My communications officer stiffened. Admiral, it is labeled. Read it. Translation matrix indicates gift. The bridge fell silent. No species sends gifts to a war fleet. It may be a logic bomb, my security chief warned. Scan it. We cannot, he replied after a pause. It does not behave like executable code. It behaves like an invitation. An invitation from a pre-Dominion species? I ordered containment protocols. We isolated the construct inside a hardened sandbox environment. Triple quantum partition, no outbound permissions. Open it, I said. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the box unfolded, not explosively, gracefully. Panels separated into streams of light, expanding outward like petals of some alien flower. Data flooded the containment field. Coordinates, schematics, structural analyses, engineering diagnostics, thousands of them. Our science officer's voice trembled. These are Dominion signatures. That is impossible. It is not only ours, she whispered. It includes archived models, decommissioned fleets, reactor variations across 5 centuries. My throat tightened. Source? She ran comparative scans. Accuracy exceeds our own historical database. The bridge grew colder. How would a Deathworld species possess this information? No one answered. The package continued unfolding. Now it displayed 3-dimensional renderings of our flagship's internal structure. My flagship. Layer by layer, it stripped the hull, the armor, the shield lattice, the reactor core. Highlighted sections glowed red. Annotations appeared beside them. Thermal stress fracture probability, 17.4% within next 3 cycles. Containment drift, 0.004 variance, escalating. Recommendation, phase coupling realignment. My engineer staggered back from his station. That drift is classified. I stood. Confirm. He ran diagnostics. His scales paled. It is accurate. Accurate. Not approximate. Not theoretical. Exact. The gift shifted again. A message formed. Text. Simple. Direct. We noticed instability in your fleet's Mark 7 singularity reactors. We corrected the math. You're welcome. Earth. My claws tightened around the armrest. This was not surrender. This was not defiance. This was something worse. They had entered our systems, observed us, studied us, and, instead of attacking, they had fixed us. Trace origin, I demanded. No transmission source detected, communications replied. The data appears to have assembled internally from distributed signal interference. Infiltration vector? Unknown. The word echoed across the bridge like a confession. Unknown. We prided ourselves on omniscience. We mapped entire sectors before arrival. We predicted species behavior in 2.3% variance, and yet these humans had bypassed our encryption as if it were decorative art. Another segment of the gift activated. Now it displayed coordinates, hundreds of them, each marked with Dominion insignia. Hidden outposts, supply depots, listening arrays, black site research facilities, even ghost relays erased from public record. How many are accurate? I asked quietly. Our intelligence officer swallowed. All of them. A tremor passed through the bridge crew. They are not threatening, the science officer whispered. She was right. There were no weapons locked, no countdown, no demand, only data. Clean, organized, helpful. Then the final line appeared beneath the coordinates. We assumed you would want to know where your blind spots are. We prefer informed neighbors. Informed neighbors? They spoke as if this were a border dispute, as if we were equals. My security chief leaned closer to his display. Admiral, there is more. The gift expanded once again. Now it displayed simulations, Dominion fleet engagement patterns, tactical maneuvers, response times, command latency, every weakness highlighted, every inefficiency marked. Our standard flanking maneuver was dissected in real time. Our shield harmonics were mapped. Our targeting algorithms were predicted before execution. They had modeled us completely. How long would this analysis require? I asked. My tactical officer answered, decades. The room felt smaller. They have done it in silence, he added, without a shot fired, without detection, without warning. And then something changed. The gift projected an image, a human, standing in what appeared to be a simple chamber, no armor, no visible weapons. Their skin was smooth, their frame compact but dense. They looked directly into the projection, and then they smiled, teeth visible, white, even, exposed. Several officers recoiled instinctively. Predator display. Our xenobiologists had warned us. Among most species, baring teeth signals imminent attack. Humans did it socially, casually. The contradiction unsettled us. The human spoke. We apologize for entering your systems without permission. The voice was calm, measured. We detected catastrophic flaws in your reactor harmonics when you crossed into Seoul. It would have been irresponsible not to inform you. Irresponsible, as if we were careless children. We understand that your fleet doctrine favors overwhelming force. However, we believe cooperation yields better long-term survival probabilities. No arrogance, no fear, only certainty. You may verify all corrections at your convenience. The human tilted his head slightly. If you wish to discuss further optimization, we are available. The smile widened slightly. Several officers shifted uneasily. My engineer whispered, their bone density is 30% greater than ours. No one asked. He continued anyway. High gravity evolution, hydraulic-like muscle efficiency. If boarding occurred, close quarters projections favor them. Why was he thinking about boarding? Because we all were. Because something deep within our instincts recognized the danger behind that smile. The human concluded, "We have no interest in conquest, but we will defend our home." The projection faded. The gift collapsed into a single glowing point. Then it vanished. Not deleted, not transmitted away, gone. Our systems showed no trace, no residue, no back door left behind. Clean, impossibly clean. Silence consumed the bridge. 112 warships hung in orbit around a Deathworld, weapons armed, shields raised. We did not open fire. That decision alone fractured centuries of Dominion doctrine. For 12 standard cycles, the seventh spear held position above the blue Deathworld. Weapons primed, shields stable, reactor harmonics recalibrated according to human corrections. Their math was flawless, not a single miscalculation. That unsettled me more than any missile barrage. I ordered a silent systems audit. Every encryption layer, every quantum key exchange, every ghost protocol. Our cyber command reported no breach signatures, no corrupted sectors, no backdoor artifacts. And yet, the humans had accessed everything. That was when our science division made the second discovery. They did not break in, Chief Analyst Ref Ka said slowly. Explain. They predicted us. The bridge quieted. She expanded a projection of our command architecture. Overlay after overlay appeared. Mathematical modeling, probability trees, behavioral flowcharts. They did not need our keys, she continued. They simulated our logic. Simulated. Perfectly. They had studied Dominion fleet doctrine from external observation, our timing, our patterns, our redundancies. Then they built a mirror of us, a living mirror. They ran a full predictive architecture model, she whispered, and then tested weaknesses inside their own simulation. The implications were catastrophic. They did not hack us, my security chief murmured. They understood us. Another transmission arrived, this time openly, encoded in standard diplomatic spectrum. No infiltration, no intrusion. It contained only coordinates, one set, far beyond the orbit of Neptune. Scans show a dormant structure, massive, non-aggressive, no weapon signatures. We approached cautiously. What we found was impossible. A gate, a ring structure spanning hundreds of kilometers, quantum lattice filaments woven through dark alloy, power signatures faint but stable. This predates our arrival, science confirmed. Construction age approximately 30 of their years. 30 years. They had built this in secret. A slipstream accelerator, not primitive warp, not crude fold drives. This was refined, elegant, dangerous. They call it a quantum gateway, communications translated from embedded human markers. A second message activated, not from infiltration, from the gate itself. The same human appeared, still smiling, still calm. We assumed you would eventually send a fleet. Most expanding empires do. No accusation, only observation. Our species evolved under extreme gravity, the human continued. Our bones are 30% denser than most sapient life forms. Our muscles operate with hydraulic efficiency. We survive pressures that crush others. The image shifted. Footage of humans training, running for hours, lifting immense weight, impact simulations. Their bodies absorbed punishment that would shatter Dominion soldiers. "We are from a Category 12 Deathworld," the human said simply. "We persist." Images flashed across the projection. Volcanic eruptions, predators, violent storms, radiation bursts. Humans standing, enduring. "We do not stop when tired. We stop when finished." My crew shifted uneasily. Persistence hunting. Our xenobiologists had warned us. Humans could pursue prey across extreme distances without rest. Their cardiovascular endurance exceeded galactic norms. A war of attrition with them would not be short. It would be endless. The projection shifted to the quantum gateway again. "We built this decades ago, not as a weapon." Energy pulsed through the ring. Space-time rippled. A distant star flickered in the display. Slipstream compression allows instantaneous access across regional sectors. Instantaneous, not weeks, not days, seconds. You arrived with 112 warships. We could have arrived at your capital in 12. Silence consumed the bridge. No threat, no raised voice, just arithmetic. "We prefer not to escalate." That word again, prefer, as if destruction were merely an option on a list. Our intelligence officer whispered, "Admiral, if they have multiple gates." I did not need him to finish. A Deathworld species with endurance, dense skeletal structure, superior predictive modeling, and instantaneous mobility. The Dominion had labeled them developing, primitive. We were wrong. Not primitive, patient. The human stepped closer to the projection field. "We corrected your reactor instabilities because catastrophic failure could have killed millions," they said. "We do not celebrate unnecessary loss." Mercy again. But behind the mercy was calculation. "You came prepared for surrender," the human continued. "We prepared for conversation." Their eyes narrowed slightly. Not anger, focus. "If you choose war, understand that we have already mapped every one of your supply corridors." Coordinates flashed briefly on our screens, the same ones from the gift. "Understand that your encryption cycles were predicted before you arrived." Data flickered, proof. "Understand that this gate allows us to appear anywhere your fleets depend on stability." A pause. Then the human smiled again, teeth visible, predator display. "But we would rather share fire than use it." The image ended. The quantum gateway powered down to idle. Back on my flagship, tension spread like radiation. "They built a deterrence architecture," science said quietly. Yes. Without firing. Yes. Our war doctrine depended on shock, overwhelm, dominance. Human doctrine appeared to rely on exposure, revelation, psychological superiority. "They want us to calculate," I said. "And retreat?" Tactical asked. "No. They want us to respect." Respect. The Dominion did not respect. We conquered, we absorbed, we advanced. Yet now, facing this Deathworld species, something unfamiliar stirred within the fleet. Doubt. Our soldiers could fight, but could they endure? Human persistence meant they would not collapse from exhaustion. They would not withdraw when wounded. Adrenaline responses in their biology increased neural transmission speed under stress. Our medical officers had confirmed it. Under extreme threat,
Humans became faster, stronger, more precise, and they smiled about it too. A junior officer spoke hesitantly. "Admiral, if they can simulate us, what if they simulated this conversation?" That thought chilled me. Had they predicted my hesitation, my analysis? Had this entire exchange been anticipated decades ago when they built the gate? Perhaps that was their greatest weapon. Not guns, not fleets, preparation. Humans studied empires the way predators study herds, quietly, patiently, learning weaknesses, waiting. And when the herd arrived, they offered assistance, not to submit, but to demonstrate control. A final encrypted packet arrived, voluntarily transmitted, no infiltration, no intrusion. It contained only a mathematical breakdown of our reactor correction algorithm, open, transparent, no hidden code. They were sharing the solution freely, not hoarding it. "Why give us this?" my engineer asked softly. I stared at the rotating data. "Because they want us to know they can do more." Fire, given as a gift, but clearly capable of becoming a weapon. The Dominion had come to claim a world. Instead, we had discovered something far more dangerous, a species that could outthink us, outlast us, outmaneuver us, and still choose not to attack. For now, I gave.
The Dominion does not retreat without testing strength. Respect is earned through resistance. The High Council transmitted a single directive to my fleet. Probe. Not full assault, not planetary bombardment. A controlled demonstration of superiority. If humanity was bluffing, we would expose it. If they were not, we would measure them. I did not like the order, but I obeyed. We deployed 3 cruiser-class vessels into low orbital descent, weapons charged at minimum yield, target locks calibrated on uninhabited oceanic sectors. A warning shot, a show of dominance. Before the command could execute, our weapon arrays flickered. Not shut down, not destroyed, interrupted. A harmonic distortion rippled across our tactical network. "Signal interference," communications said. "No," science corrected. "Localized quantum feedback." The distortion stabilized. Weapons returned online. I hesitated. "Fire." 3 beams lanced toward Earth's upper atmosphere. They never arrived. Mid-descent, the beams bent, not deflected by shields, curved, as if space itself had shifted slightly out of alignment. The energy dissipated harmlessly across the void. Silence filled the bridge. "They altered gravitational microgradients," science whispered, "on a planetary scale." That required power beyond fleet reactors. That required infrastructure, preparation. A transmission arrived instantly. Not infiltration, direct channel. The Dominion representative again, this time not smiling. "Admiral," they said calmly, "we requested conversation." I replied, "You refused surrender." "We do not surrender our home." Their gaze did not waver. "You tested our defenses. We corrected your aim." Corrected. Again that word. "You are escalating," I warned. "No," the human answered. "We are preventing damage." Behind the human, another image appeared. A chamber, metallic, crowded. Dominion soldiers, captured, alive. My blood ran cold. "How?" "You deployed ground reconnaissance drones in Sector 3. They carried boarding capsules." My security chief froze. Those capsules had been stealth class, undetectable. They landed, the human continued. Our security forces intercepted them. Footage played. Dominion soldiers emerging from capsules, towering, armored. Then humans entered the frame, unarmored, no visible augmentation, close quarters. The first Dominion soldier swung. The human absorbed the impact, did not fall, countered. Bone met armor, armor cracked. The human moved with brutal efficiency, hydraulic precision, dense skeletal frame transferring force directly, adrenaline response visible in biometric overlay, heart rate elevated, neural speed increased, pain response suppressed. They did not slow, they did not hesitate. Within minutes, every Dominion soldier was subdued, alive, disarmed, pinned to the ground by beings physically smaller but mechanically stronger under high-gravity adaptation. Our bones are denser, the human said quietly. Our muscle fibers contract with higher pressure tolerance. Under stress, our bodies accelerate. Acceleration, that was the correct term. Under threat, humans became more dangerous, not less. Another clip played. A human bleeding from the shoulder, wounded. They stood anyway, continued fighting. Persistence. Your species fatigues at 43% oxygen debt. Ours continues. My medical officer confirmed silently. The data was accurate. Humans could fight for hours. Our troops would collapse long before. You sent warriors, the human said calmly. We sent responders. Behind them, Dominion prisoners were being treated, wounds dressed, water offered. No execution, no humiliation. Mercy, again. The contrast was suffocating. On my bridge, tension fractured discipline. They could have killed them, Tactical muttered. Yes, I said, but they did not. No one misunderstood the implication. They were choosing restraint, which meant they had alternatives. Then alarms erupted. Admiral, fleet-wide diagnostic anomaly. Across every vessel, weapon capacitors spiked simultaneously, not exploding, destabilizing. A precise oscillation passed through our armaments. Science gasped. They are mapping our firing sequences in real time. How? Through quantum resonance bleed from our own systems. They were learning from our attempt. Every microsecond of our firing cycle was being analyzed, in silence, in patience. They were adapting faster than we could threaten. The human reappeared. You misunderstand us. I understand enough, I replied. No, the human said softly. You believe we wish to dominate. They paused. We wish to survive. Images flooded the screen. Earth's history, wars, self-inflicted devastation, reconstruction, innovation, adaptation. We evolved on a world that tried to kill us daily. High gravity, predators, disease, scarcity, storms, volcanoes, ice ages. We survived because we cooperate, because we persist. Their eyes sharpened. When necessary, we fight. The projection shifted again, a simulation of Dominion fleet formations, human countermaneuvers overlaid, precise, calculated, every supply line, every reinforcement path, intercepted in projection. We have already run this war 12,000 times. The word struck harder than any weapon. We lose in none of them. Silence consumed my bridge. They had simulated us, again, thoroughly, completely. Then why show restraint? I demanded. The human considered. Because power without restraint becomes extinction. A pause. We choose not to be monsters. There it was, the line that unsettled me most. They could, but they would not, unless forced. The human leaned slightly closer. Your fleet is formidable, but it is tired. My tactical officer bristled. We are fully operational. You have traveled 14 jumps without full reactor recalibration. Crew fatigue across your lower decks exceeds safe thresholds. My internal sensors confirmed it. They were correct, again. You do not know our weaknesses, I said, though doubt crept into my voice. The human smiled slightly, teeth visible, predator display. We do not need to. Their gaze locked onto mine. You do not need to know us. At that moment, every Dominion officer understood. Humans did not fight emotionally. They fought analytically. They studied. They endured. They waited. Then they acted decisively. Our probe had not intimidated them. It had educated them further. We had escalated, and they had responded with demonstration, not destruction, but proof. Proof that if war began fully, it would not end quickly, it would not end cleanly, and it would not end in our favor. I stared at the blue planet below. Category 12, Deathworld. High gravity forged their bones, pressure forged their minds, persistence forged their doctrine. We intended to measure them. Instead, we measured ourselves and found the margin thin, very thin. The escalation had begun, but for the first time in Dominion history, I wondered if continuing it would lead not to victory, but to extinction. After the failed probe, the Dominion High Council demanded escalation. I delayed. For the first time in my command career, I delayed. Not from fear, from calculation. Humans had demonstrated physical superiority in close quarters. They had displayed predictive modeling beyond our strategic core. They had built quantum gateways capable of instant regional projection. And yet, they had not attacked. That meant something. They were shaping the battlefield without firing. That realization came too late. Our long-range scanners detected a Dominion supply convoy entering the outer sector. Standard reinforcement pattern, automated escort, encrypted routing. It should have been invisible to Earth. It was not. A transmission arrived from Earth Command. Open channel. No intrusion. No force. Attached was a detailed logistics report of our incoming convoy, fuel ratios, ammunition manifest, crew rosters, even morale metrics extracted from internal communications. How? My intelligence officer whispered. The human appeared again. You rely heavily on predictive convoy timing, they said calmly. Your encryption rotates on fixed entropy cycles. That is classified, my security chief snapped. Yes, the human agreed. They smiled, predator teeth, calm eyes. We predicted it. Not hacked, predicted again. The tactical shift had begun. Human ships appeared at the edge of the system. Not warships, smaller, angular, efficient. No visible weapon arrays. They positioned themselves near our convoy's projected path. Weapons on my fleet locked instantly. Before I could order fire, the human transmission continued. We are not intercepting your supplies, they said. A pause. We are improving them. Data flooded our screens. Convoy reactor performance optimization. Shield harmonics recalibrated. Cargo storage efficiency improved by 9%. They had already applied the modifications, remotely, without triggering alarms. Our convoy reported improved fuel consumption rates. No damage, no sabotage, enhancement. The bridge crew fell into stunned silence. "They are demonstrating access," my science officer said quietly. "Yes, they are also demonstrating restraint. Yes, they could have disabled the convoy, destroyed it. Instead, they optimized it. Strategic gratitude." The phrase from the first gift echoed in my mind. They were teaching us, showing us they understood every layer of our infrastructure, and choosing not to break it. Then the true shift occurred. A Dominion black site research relay, hidden beyond Pluto's shadow, went dark. Alarms triggered across my fleet. Power loss detected at Relay Theta 9. "That site is invisible," intelligence protested. A transmission appeared from Earth. "Relay Theta 9 suffers a cooling system fault." A diagnostic overlay appeared, complete, accurate. We patched it. The relay's power restored instantly. My claws dug into the armrest. They were inside our most secure assets, fixing them, not damaging, fixing. This was psychological warfare, surgical, precise, no destruction, only demonstration. I requested direct, secure conversation. The human agreed. The projection room isolated, no crew, no advisors, just myself and the human representative. "You have proven access," I said. "State your demand." The human tilted her head slightly. "We have none." "You expect us to believe that?" "We expect you to calculate." I narrowed my eyes. "You are undermining Dominion authority." "No," the human replied calmly. "We are offering stability." Their gaze did not break. "You expand rapidly. Rapid expansion creates structural stress. We have modeled your empire's collapse probabilities." A projection appeared. Dominion territorial growth curves, resource depletion forecasts, internal rebellion simulations, all accurate. All empires fracture, unless they adapt. "And you believe you are the solution?" I asked coldly. "We believe cooperation prevents extinction." Their tone remained steady. "We do not seek your territory." "Then why this display?" The human smiled again. Teeth, predator signal. "Because you came with weapons." I felt something unfamiliar. Not fear, recognition. Humans were not trying to win a battle. They were dismantling our logic. Our assumption had been simple. Advanced species dominate weaker ones. But humans did not behave like weaker species. They behaved like equals, or worse, superiors who refused to act superior. That was destabilizing. Another alert interrupted. "Admiral, fleet encryption anomaly." Across every ship, our secure channels flickered. Not breached, not compromised, but rewritten. A new protocol layer appeared, injected, brilliantly structured, quantum-resistant, self-correcting. "What is this?" I demanded. Science scanned rapidly. "It is an upgrade." The human's voice echoed across the bridge. "You are vulnerable to cascading cipher collapse during multi-vector assault. We corrected that." My entire fleet now operated on encryption stronger than our own research division could produce. They had hardened our defenses against themselves. "Why?" I asked. "Because if war begins," the human replied, "it should be intentional, not accidental." The implication hit harder than any missile. They wanted clarity, choice, deliberate escalation, not misunderstanding. I studied the human closely. "You are demonstrating overwhelming superiority," I said, "but you refuse to declare dominance." The human nodded slightly. "We choose not to be monsters." There it was again, choice. Their power was undeniable, quantum gateways, predictive modeling, physical dominance, cyber infiltration, and yet every action stopped just short of destruction. Mercy, strategic, calculated, terrifying. On my bridge, officers whispered quietly, "They could dismantle us. They have not. Yet." The tension shifted, not toward aggression, toward realization. Humans were forcing the Dominion to confront a truth. We were not the apex, not here, and if we attacked fully, they would respond fully. I replayed footage of the ground skirmish, human persistence, adrenaline spikes increasing neural speed, dense bones transferring force efficiently. They were biologically built for endurance, psychologically built for adaptation, technologically built for anticipation, and morally built around restraint. That combination was lethal. The humans spoke once more. "Admiral Keltor," they said quietly. I did not ask how they knew my name. "You stand at a threshold." The quantum gateway flared faintly behind them. "Our gates connect to dozens of systems. We can appear where needed in seconds. No threat, just fact." "We do not want your empire to collapse," the human continued. "But if you force war, we will end it quickly." I believed them, not because they bragged, because they did not. The tactical shift was complete. The Dominion no longer controlled the tempo. Humans did. They had reshaped the battlefield into something unfamiliar. Not territory, not firepower, information, trust, calculation. Every move we made revealed more of ourselves. Every move they made revealed their capacity. Without bloodshed, without spectacle, just precision. I looked at Earth once more. Blue, fragile, deadly. "We must reconsider," I said quietly to my command crew. No one objected, because we all understood. This was no longer about conquest. It was about survival. And humanity had already proven they could dismantle us with kindness alone.
The Dominion High Council made its decision. Escalation. Full spectrum. Not a probe, not a demonstration. A decisive strike meant to reassert authority. They believed humanity's restraint was hesitation. They believed the Deathworlders were posturing. They were wrong. At precisely 0317 Standard Fleet Time, all 112 Dominion warships aligned weapons towards Earth. Planetary suppression cannons charged, gravitic lances synchronized, missile arrays primed. I stood at the center of the bridge. I knew what was coming, but orders were orders. Prepare to fire. Before the command completed, something changed. No explosion, no impact, no visible attack. Just silence. Every tactical display froze. Weapons status lights dimmed. Reactor output stabilized at minimal operational threshold. Not disabled. Paused. Across the fleet, identical reports echoed. "Admiral, primary weapons are unresponsive. Secondary arrays locked. Missile guidance offline." Panic flickered beneath disciplined voices. "Is this sabotage?" my security chief demanded. Science scanned rapidly. No internal breach detected. Then it appeared. A faint pulse. Invisible to the eye, but visible across quantum instruments. A harmonic ripple, perfectly tuned. "Quantum dissonance," science whispered. The phrase felt heavy. They matched our weapon frequency resonance and introduced phase noise at subatomic alignment. In simpler terms, they told our weapons to sleep, and our weapons obeyed. A transmission opened automatically, not intrusion,
Authorized channel. The human representative appeared, this time not smiling, serious, measured. "You initiated full-spectrum assault," they said calmly. "You interfered with Dominion Command," I replied. "We prevented planetary loss of life." Behind the human, a holographic timer appeared. 00. It began counting upward. "You have 11 minutes," the human said. "For what?" I demanded. "To observe." Minute 1. Our fleet attempted manual override. Physical control systems engaged. Weapons remained inert. No explosion, no meltdown, just silence. Minute 3. Engineering teams attempted to recalibrate resonance frequencies. The dissonance adapted instantly, like a living thing. Minute 5. Our shield harmonics flickered, not collapsing, not failing, rewritten, strengthened. They had modified our shields, improved them against external attack, including their own. Minute 7. External scans detected movement beyond Neptune. The quantum gateway flared. Multiple signatures emerged. Human vessels, hundreds. Not warships in traditional form, modular, adaptive. Each vessel carried no visible primary weapon arrays. Instead, they radiated control fields, signal manipulation lattices. They surrounded the Dominion fleet without firing a shot. Encirclement through presence. Minute 9. Our fleet's internal communications rerouted through human-optimized encryption. Stronger, faster, more stable. They had secured our own command network against collapse, even as they held our weapons dormant. Minute 11. The timer stopped. 11. The human looked directly at me. This is what restraint looks like. Silence filled my bridge, complete, absolute. 112 warships, armed, powerful, unable to fire, and yet untouched. No hull damage, no casualties, no humiliation, just proof. "Explain the pulse," I said quietly. The human replied, "Quantum dissonance is not destructive. It introduces phase variance at a level that prevents weapon harmonics from stabilizing." "You could have overloaded them," my engineer said. "Yes. You did not." "No." The human's eyes sharpened slightly. "We are from a high-gravity world. Pressure shapes us. Conflict refines us. But extinction teaches caution." Behind them, imagery appeared, a star dimming, not collapsing, not exploding, dimmed. "We have tested dissonance at stellar scale," the human continued. The image clarified, a distant red dwarf star fluctuating in brightness. "For 2 seconds," they said calmly. My bridge crew froze. Demonstration only. They had the capacity to manipulate stellar output, even briefly. That level of energy control redefined warfare. "You are showing us annihilation potential," I said. "No," the human corrected. "You are showing us choice." I reviewed the ground footage again. Human persistence, adrenaline response time accelerating reaction time, 30% denser bones absorbing impact, hydraulic muscle efficiency transferring force, now paired with quantum-scale technological precision, biology forged in pressure, technology forged in patience, and above all, mercy. "We do not conquer," the human said softly. "But you could," I replied. The human finally smiled again, teeth visible, predator display. "Yes." The word echoed across the bridge like a gravitational collapse. Across my fleet, officers whispered, "They control us.
They are not attacking. They are protecting us from ourselves. That last statement lingered. Protecting us from ourselves. Dominion doctrine did not account for that possibility. We measured strength by destruction. Humans measured strength by restraint. That difference changed everything. Release our weapons, I said. The human considered. Withdraw full assault directive. I hesitated. Behind me, tactical officers waited. The Dominion High Council watched remotely. Pride battled survival. I chose survival. Assault directive withdrawn. Instantly, the quantum dissonance faded. Weapons status lights returned to green, fully functional. No damage, no degradation. They had not crippled us. They had demonstrated capability. Precisely 11 minutes, not 10, not 12, 11. A message without arrogance, calculated, controlled, merciful. The human leaned closer. Admiral Keltor. Yes, we do not want to be your enemy. Then what do you want? A galaxy where strength is not measured by fear. Behind them, Earth rotated slowly, blue, fragile, unbreakable. You came seeking surrender, the human said. We came prepared for extinction. That statement struck deeply. Prepared for extinction. They had calculated every outcome, including losing, and built systems to prevent it. Dominion fleets thrived on intimidation. Humans thrived on preparation. Preparation wins, eventually. The quantum gateway pulsed once more. Human vessels began to reposition, not retreating, holding distance, watching, allowing us space to decide. I looked across my bridge. Veteran officers, warriors. For the first time, none demanded retaliation. None demanded pride. Only clarity. If we attacked again, they would escalate beyond restraint. If we withdrew, they would not pursue. That certainty was absolute. The 11-minute silence had proven it. Humanity had given us fire. They had shown us they could dim stars. They had shown us they could dismantle fleets, and they had chosen not to. That was the true demonstration. Power without cruelty. Dominance without conquest. I opened a channel to the High Council. I must reconsider our expansion doctrine, I said. Silence followed. Then acknowledgement. The human's final words before ending the transmission were simple. We remember what war costs. The screen went dark. For the first time in Dominion history, a war fleet stood down, not because it was defeated, but because it was educated, and the lesson burned brighter than any weapon.
The Dominion fleet remained in orbit for 2 more cycles. Weapons armed, engines ready, but no one moved. Not us, not them. The blue Deathworld rotated beneath us as if unaware that history had shifted above its skies. I stood alone in the command chamber, reviewing the data from the 11-minute silence. No system damage, no structural compromise, no casualties. They had demonstrated absolute control, and then returned that control to us. That detail mattered. They had not taken our fleet. They had not humiliated us. They had not broadcast our vulnerability to the wider galaxy. They had kept it contained, private, intentional, merciful. A final transmission arrived, not to the fleet, to me, direct, secure. The human representative appeared once more. This time the background was different. Not a control room, not a gateway. A simple room, wooden surfaces, soft light, a window showing Earth's sky, clouds drifting, ordinary. "You have decided," the human said. "Yes." "You will withdraw?" "Yes." The human nodded once. "We will not pursue." "I believe you," I replied. Silence stretched between us. For the first time, there was no tactical tension, only clarity. "You could have destroyed us," I said. "Yes." "You could have ended the Dominion's expansion permanently." "Yes." "Why did you not?" The human's eyes shifted briefly toward the window, toward their sky. "Because we know what it means to rebuild from ash." Images appeared in the air between us. Human cities reduced to rubble. War, fire, loss. Then reconstruction. Steel rising from ruins. Families returning. Children playing where battle once stood. "We learned long ago," the human continued, "that survival without mercy becomes tyranny." They looked back at me. "We refuse to become what we fear." That sentence carried more weight than any fleet. The Dominion doctrine defined power as dominance. Human doctrine defined power as restraint. That difference would echo across centuries. "You altered our encryption," I said quietly. "Yes." "You optimized our reactors." "Yes." "You protected our fleet from its own instability." "Yes." "Why strengthen a potential enemy?" The human smiled again, teeth visible, predator display. But this time I understood it differently. "We strengthen neighbors," they said. "Even when they arrive with weapons?" "Especially then." Outside my flagship, Dominion ships began to reposition. Engines turning slowly. Formation shifting from assault alignment to departure vector. No human interference. No pressure. No pursuit. They watched. That was all. Watching. Trusting the decision. I opened fleet-wide communication. "This is Admiral Keltor. We are withdrawing from the Sol system." There was no protest, no dissent, only quiet acknowledgement. Even the most aggressive commanders had seen the data, had felt the silence of powerless weapons, had understood the star-dimming demonstration. Humanity could annihilate. They chose not to. As our fleet prepared for jump, I sent a final message to Earth. Not a threat, not a demand, a statement. "The Dominion acknowledges your sovereignty." The reply came seconds later. "We acknowledge your choice." Choice. That word again. Before we initiated departure, the human spoke once last. "We operate under a principle," they said. What principle? The sovereign species doctrine. A new projection appeared, clear. Any species capable of self-determination has the right to exist without domination. "We will defend that principle," the human continued, relentlessly. I did not doubt it. "Does it apply to the Dominion?" I asked. The human's expression softened slightly. "Yes." That answer struck deeper than any insult could have. We had arrived as conquerors. They recognized us as sovereign. Even now, even after attempted assault. Mercy, not weakness, conviction. Our fleet entered slipspace. As stars stretched into lines, I allowed myself a final glance at the Sol system. Category 12 Deathworld. High gravity forged their bones. Adversity forged their endurance. History forged their restraint. They never stopped. They never panicked. They calculated. They persisted. They chose. Cycles later, in the Dominion High Council chamber, I delivered my full report. I described the quantum gateway network, the predictive modeling, the physical superiority of their soldiers, 30% denser skeletal structure, hydraulic muscle efficiency, adrenaline amplification under stress. I described the 11-minute silence, the dimmed star, the encryption rewrite, the convoy optimization. And finally, I described the smile, teeth bared, not in threat, in certainty. The council listened in silence. When I finished, one elder asked a single question. Are they a threat? I considered carefully. Yes. The chamber tensed. But only if we force them to be. Silence returned. That answer reshaped policy. Expansion slowed. Diplomatic channels opened. The Dominion recalculated. Years later, a Dominion envoy traveled to Earth, not under threat, not under escort, voluntarily. Trade began, knowledge exchanged, joint research projects initiated, quantum dissonance protocols shared under mutual oversight. Human engineers worked beside Dominion scientists, not as masters, not as servants, as equals. The galaxy watched and learned. I often replay the moment our weapons fell silent, the 11-minute silence. It was not defeat, it was revelation. Humanity could have been the monsters we feared. Instead, they chose to be guardians of balance. They gave us fire, but they also showed us how not to burn. Now, when young Dominion officers ask me about Earth, I tell them this. Do not mistake their smile for softness. I pause. Do not mistake their mercy for weakness. And finally, I say the words that have become doctrine within our fleet. They remember. Because that is the truth. Humans remember their wars, their losses, their mistakes, and they build systems so they never repeat them. If we ever forget the lesson of the soul system, if pride blinds us again, if conquest tempts us once more, I know what will happen. The gates will open, the silence will fall, and the fire will return. But until then, the blue Deathworld remains what it has chosen to be: home.